on the Bundy campaign website, and was taken down this morning.
Sure. Yeah, Colton Lochhead, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're reporting for who?
The Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so what questions do you have?
So the items that were on there, this idea of this eye for an eye redemption,
Mm-hmm.
10 murders, 10 murders for 10 murders, rape for rape. Bundy says that those were not his words, not his ideals.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the website did kind of make it seem like it was. It said that Ryan Bundy would implement the system. Where did this, and he kind of said that it was you who had posted it. So where
did he kind of say it, or did he actually say it?
Huh?
Did he kind of say it, or did he actually say it?
No, he said that those were yours. He said campaign managers designing the web did. He said that was done by the web designer, campaign manager who was designing the web did it.
Correct.
I did not approve of that. So I just want to know, so was it you that posted that section?
Yes,
that section
I've built his entire website from scratch. He's been going through and modifying the website in his own words, and he has yet to read or see that when it got released onto Twitter. So he has personally deleted that content and is working on rewriting and releasing something that's closer to his ideals.
Okay, so this eye for an eye redemption,
Mm-hmm.
where did that come from? Was this something, you know, why did this end up making it on the website in the first place?
Well, the prison reform is the primary issue, one of almost a dozen. And the eye for an eye was mostly content that I had put in. Well, it was all content that I had put in, but it was mostly, well, it was all my ideals. The reason it was put in there was, well, because I think it's fair. So.
Okay. And obviously Brian doesn't necessarily agree with that. You know, those aren't his ideals. So this is something you did on your own. This wasn't something that Ryan said.
Wait a second.
Put into the website.
What did you say? This wasn't something.
This isn't something that Mr. Bundy, you know, asked you to write and put on the website, right?
No, I think you first said this isn't something that I did all on my own, and that's wrong.
Yeah,
I did do it all on my own.
That's what I meant to say. And this is something that you did on your own.
Correct.
Okay, that's what. Just double checking. And so Ryan never told you to write anything about this. This idea. Have you ever heard, you know, Ryan talk about this in this eye for an eye, you know, punishment system?
You went from a statement to a question. What was the first element?
I can't necessarily remember. Let me just ask the question.
Sure.
Have you ever heard Mr. Bundy use or refer to this eye for an eye punishment as part of his campaign platform?
No, not specifically
No? Okay.
eye for an eye. But there is prison reform and judicial reform that has been discussed, right. and there are there is a podcast that talks about prison and the judicial system being severely broken based on his personal experience of being wrongfully incarcerated.
Right, and that was something I'd covered. I actually covered part of his federal case, so I was there when he was making his, I think he was actually representing himself pro se, and kind of, if I remember right, he actually had one of the key arguments that ended up getting that case thrown out, so it was pretty interesting.
Well, he represented himself. And
yeah.
he got the federal agents to lie, or he caught them in lying. He didn't get them to lie, but he caught them in their own lie against Ryan Bundy.
Gotcha. So my last question is, you know, just double check. Okay. So this is something, this eye for an eye section. This was not something that Ryan ever asked you to put in, correct?
It is not something he had ever mentioned to me. Correct.
Gotcha. All right, that's all I got. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Gerhardt?
Well, there's a lot. I mean, it really depends on what your narrative the story is and what you would like to say. I mean, I've got a lot of information.
but looking at this story, I mean, this is something that popped up on a governor candidate's website, on his campaign website. Is something that's pretty different than what I would say would be, and it's even somewhat contradictory to what is in his prison reform system. They're talking about, a lot of rehabilitation, especially.
How so?
Kind of looking at.
How does an eye for an eye contradict reform? Or what was it?
Well, he talks specifically about rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, that's right.
Yeah, he specifically talks about rehabilitation. I don't think that there's a lot of rehabilitation coming from being, if you are killed, and this is, there's a bigger narrative there, or a bigger concept there about the death penalty, and
Well, but it's not permanent death. You've heard of waterboarding, correct?
Yeah. So what are you referring to here? Murder is.
Well, it says specifically multiple murders, right? So 10 murders does not equal 1 life sentence. 10 murders equals 10 murders, 10 deaths, right? So if you have murdered 10 people, it's my personal view that you deserve to be killed 10 times as part of your punishment, in addition to the rehabilitation that would then bring you back into society. If you received this kind of punishment along with rehabilitation back into society, it is my belief that you would be better equipped to cooperate within society. Now, Bundy's view is specifically to reform the prison system and the rehabilitation of criminals, which includes reducing jail time so that it's not redundant in its length. I mean, life sentences is a waste of time and taxpayer money.
So my question, though, is you mentioned 10 murders, you deserve to be killed 10 times. That's what you said.
Yes.
How does somebody get killed 10 times?
Waterboarding is one way. It's where your heart goes flatline and then you are resuscitated. Resuscitating a life means that someone has died and then they were brought back to life. So we can do that.
Hard stop, effectively.
Exactly. Yes.
That's a hard stop.
Humanity. We are like, if you're familiar with Guantanamo and President George Bush waterboarding prisoners, that's what he did. Is he gave the order for these people these prisoners in Guantanamo to be murdered, resuscitated, and murdered again, and then resuscitated, right? It's a form of torture, but it's also a form of, it could be a form of retribution. It could be, a sentencing. And there was someone on Twitter today who had mentioned, that these are sinking society because now we're doing crimes against criminals. But at the same time, you must also acknowledge that criminals are currently, they are imposed crimes. They are kidnapped. They are enslaved, right? These are crimes, correct? Well, they happen to criminals. And so crimes against criminals are still happening today. It's just a matter of, are they fair? Are they equal? Is it just? Is it efficient? Is it beneficial for society? My personal view is that an eye for an eye retribution system is fair and just. And the process in which we are moving is very unconventional. The reason why I've been putting a lot of content on this website without first getting his approval is because of how little time we actually have. When I first joined this campaign 7 weeks ago, The Ryan Bundy campaign was incredibly sabotaged. The website could not be found on any search engine, and there was an informant loyal to the Republican Party, which we have evidence for, that was in his name. There was a donation account within the website. Okay, so an informant loyal to the Republican Party owned the old domain name and the donation link, which led money straight into his own personal bank account. Ryan Bundy still hasn't seen that money. And it's very likely that he won't until after the campaign is over. So when I joined, this campaign was broken from the inside out. And I've been working 50 plus hours a week without pay in order to get Ryan Bundy into a position where he could actually win. And the reason why I'm working so hard for him is because I know that there is no other candidate running for governor who will do what's best for the people. I had no idea who Ryan Bundy was when I first joined the campaign. I see terrible crimes. Retract that. It's not that I see the crimes, it's that I hear what could be crimes. My intuition is telling me that there are terrible crimes going on in Sin City. And when I saw something that could easily be checked and verified by the police department, they were nowhere to be found. It led me to the conclusion that the police system, at least the executives and the system they control and design, is corrupt. And it can all be justified because of the centralization of the US dollar. I don't know how much time you want to put into this, but that'd be my question. How much of this do you want to?
Unfortunately, I have a pretty limited amount of space.
All right, no, and that's fine. So when I realized that the police system was corrupt, I looked up the chain of command. The police answer to the director of the Department of Public Safety, and that director answers to the governor. And that's when I started looking into the options for governor. And the first one I looked at was Laxalt because Trump endorsed him. And the more I looked into his campaign, the more I realized that he was not the right guy. This was another swamp creature, and there was someone better. And there's only 5 candidates running for governor, and so I looked through them all and had a personal meeting with Ryan Bundy. And there's no question. As soon as I met him, we had a conversation. We followed up with another chat at a coffee shop and shook his hand. I said, based on my skill set, I think I would do best as campaign manager. He shook my hand and said, let's get it done. So from there, I've been working nonstop on this campaign, sun up to sundown, doing everything that is necessary, building the website, building the volunteer systems, bringing the team back together, building a network, a platform, and getting everyone in motion. Right? That's been my job, and I've been doing a very good job at doing it. Finally, we are starting to see some real success. And that can be shown in the volunteers, the pledged votes, the donations, the amount of team members. We're scaling our team, and we're making incredible progress. But this can only continue to keep pace if we continue moving at light speed. That includes getting things done that is not all dependent upon Ryan Bundy giving the final say-off, because he is very busy. Very busy. And this was one of those things where he was in charge of reviewing the content that was released, and this had yet to be reworded before, and read and reworded before it got out. Before the media caught hold of it. Now, I stand by those words. I will not back down from this issue. I think it's a very important issue, and hope one day to see it instated in the state of Nevada. That being said, Ryan Bundy is the candidate. He is the leader. He has already taken it down. He will have a rewritten version of the prison issues in general and possibly the eye for an eye retribution system. But that's how we are working. That's how we're functioning. We need to move very fast because we are the underdog, but at the same time, we're also the people's choice. We are the one that Ryan Bundy has more name recognition than Laxalt and Sisolak combined. He is not a career politician, unlike the other two, and he is doing what he believes is best for the people. And I agree with him 100%. He is going to make the state sovereign. He is going to remove the federal agencies. He is going to bring free markets back to the people. He's going to remove the toxic bleach and waste out of the water supply. He's got so many great things that he's striving to accomplish with his candidacy that it's a shame that he gets sabotaged from the get-go so that there's only mediocre candidates to choose from.
Okay. Mr. Gerhardt, this has been very informative. Can I just get your age?
26.
26, gotcha. And just double check, official title is campaign manager, right?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Well, Cardiff, I appreciate your time, man. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, if you want to send anything my way, just send a tweet.
Can do.
And then
what's your Twitter handle?
Mine is Crypto Cardiff.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Are you in Nevada?
Yes.
Okay. Registered Nevada voter?
Yep.
Have you pledged your vote to Bundy?
I have not pledged a vote to anybody. I'm a political reporter. I can't pledge to anybody, man.
Well, it'll be kept anonymous, I assure you.
I can't do anything. I can't do anything like that. I can't express anything like that.
You can. You just don't choose to. It's okay.
Well, yeah, if I did, I would lose my job. So.
If you did, you would leave your job.
Well, lose.
No. Yeah, they are very different. You wouldn't lose your job, again, because you wouldn't actually be exposed at, your identity.
It's a journalist thing. We try to stay as neutral as we can. So, if it's an opinion columnists do whatever they want. I'm a reporter. I try to keep my stuff as neutral as possible so that I can report the facts, get everything out there to people so that they can make the judgments themselves.
All right. Well, I'll be praying that you make the right choice when you go into the election booth November 6th.
Gotcha. Cardiff, appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Colton, likewise. Thank you.